In a dusty field in China in the year 1974, some farmers were digging for water. Their shovels hit something hard in the dirt. It was not a rock. It was the face of a person, made of clay, staring up at the sky after 2,000 years of silence. What they found was not just one statue. It was the beginning of a whole army, buried under the ground. More than 8,000 clay soldiers standing in rows, ready for a battle no one could see. This is the story of that silent army and the powerful emperor who built it. To know why this army was made, we must go back in time. We must see the world of the man who ordered it built, Emperor Qin Shi Huang. Before he was emperor, the land was broken into many small parts. These parts were always fighting each other. This time was called the Warring States period. For hundreds of years, it was a time of endless battles. Kings fought kings, and armies marched across the fields. This world of constant fighting made the young emperor believe that only one strong ruler could bring peace. He grew up seeing chaos and wanted to create order. He learned that to be safe, he had to be powerful. This idea would shape everything he did, from the great walls he built to the clay army he would hide under the earth. The emperor did more than just win wars. He had a grand vision to connect all the people he ruled. He wanted to turn many small fighting groups into one giant peaceful family. This was a new idea, and it took amazing planning. He made everyone use the same kind of money, a round coin with a square hole. He decided all roads should be the same width, so carts could travel easily from one town to another. He even made sure everyone wrote using the same letters. These simple changes helped build a new, united country. Now, let's look closer at his amazing clay soldiers. When you see the army, you might think they are all the same, but they are not. Not a single soldier is a copy of another. Every single face is different. Some soldiers look young and some look old. They have different mustaches and beards. Their hair is tied in special ways that tell us their job in the army. A general has one hairstyle, and a regular soldier has another. The detail is incredible. This tells us something very important. The people who made this army were amazing artists. They spent a huge amount of time and care on each soldier. This was not just a job, it was a mission to create a perfect army, a mirror of the real one, for their emperor. So, how did they build such a huge army? The secret was not magic. It was a very clever way of working together, like a giant factory from long ago. Each soldier was made in separate pieces and then put together. Their legs were made of solid clay so they would be strong and not fall over, but their bodies were hollow. Workers made them by coiling long ropes of clay, round and round, just like making a big pot. The arms, hands, and heads were all made on their own and attached later. The faces were made using only about 8 different molds. But after a face came out of a mold, an artist would add clay to change the nose, the ears, or the hair, giving each soldier his own unique look. But there is a sad secret we have learned. When archaeologists first dug up these soldiers, they were not the plain gray color we see today. For a few minutes they saw them as they truly were, covered in brilliant colors. The soldiers were painted with bright reds, greens, and royal purples made from special ground-up rocks. But the ancient paint was very delicate. As soon as it touched the air after 2,000 years, it flaked off and vanished, leaving only the gray clay behind. And here is one of the most amazing discoveries. The soldiers were not just carrying clay weapons. They were armed for a real war. Archaeologists have found more than 40,000 real bronze weapons buried with the army. They uncovered long swords that were treated with a special metal called chromium, which kept them from rusting. They were still incredibly sharp. They also found powerful crossbows with very smart trigger parts. These were the most advanced weapons of their time. This was a real army ready to fight for the emperor in the next life. But the emperor's underground world was not just about soldiers and war. As we have explored more, we have found other pits nearby with different kinds of statues. We have found clay figures of government workers, sitting as if they were ready to manage the emperor's kingdom. We have even discovered statues of acrobats, strongmen, and musicians holding their instruments. This tells us something important. The emperor did not just want his army to protect him. He wanted his entire world, with all its people and culture, to be with him forever. So why build such a large and detailed army out of clay? The answer lies in what the emperor feared most. He had conquered 6 other kingdoms to unite China. He believed the angry spirits of the millions he defeated would be waiting for him in the afterlife. This army was not just a symbol, it was a magical shield, a spirit army meant to protect him forever. Each soldier was placed facing east, the direction from which his enemies would come. They were his eternal guardians, ready for a battle that would never end. To understand this, we have to look at their beliefs. For the people of ancient China, the afterlife was a real place, a world that was a copy of this one. To keep your power and comfort after death, you had to bring everything with you. In older times, real servants, officials, and even soldiers were buried with their kings. Emperor Qin's clay army was a new idea. It was a way to have a full army in the next life without the terrible cost of real human lives. It shows a change in how they thought about life and death. This army also tells us a lot about the emperor's empire. It is a perfect picture of how he ruled. The soldiers were made from standard parts, like a giant building set. This is just like how the emperor made money, writing, and road sizes the same all across his new country. Everything was organized and under his control. The army stands in perfect, straight lines, ready for orders. This shows the power of his government, where everyone had a place and a job to do, all working for the emperor. But the most amazing secret is that this entire army is just the outer guard. They are all watching over something even more incredible, the emperor's tomb, which has never been opened. The army protects the entrance to a huge mound of earth nearby. An ancient writer named Sima Qian wrote that inside the tomb there is a map of the empire with rivers made of mercury. We don't know if this is true, but scientists have tested the soil on the mound. They found very high levels of mercury, making this old story seem possible. In the end, this clay army is a story about one man's deep wish to live forever. Qin Shi Huang wanted to conquer not just the world of the living, but death itself. This desire to leave a mark, to not be forgotten, is a feeling we can all understand. The Terracotta Army is his powerful answer to that timeless human question. Ancient writings give us a peek into what might be hidden inside. A great historian named Sima Qian, who lived about 100 years after the emperor, wrote about the tomb. He described a world built underground, a small copy of the emperor's entire kingdom. According to his book, the tomb has a map of the land with rivers and seas made of mercury, a shiny silver liquid. The ceiling is said to show the sun, moon, and stars, just like the night sky. It sounds like a magical place, a palace for the afterlife. For a long time, people thought this was just a wonderful story. But modern science gave us a way to check. Scientists did not have to dig. They used special tools to test the soil of the big hill that covers the tomb. And what they found was amazing. The tests showed that the soil has huge amounts of mercury, much more than normal. The mercury is located right where the old writings said the rivers and seas would be. The story might be true. This brings us to the big question. If we know so much, why don't we open the tomb? The main reason is to protect what is inside. We have learned a hard lesson from the clay soldiers themselves. When archaeologists first uncovered the warriors in 1974, they were covered in bright, beautiful colors. But in just a few minutes of being in the air, the dry air made the paint peel and fade away. The colors were lost forever. We worry the same thing could happen to everything inside the emperor's tomb. Silks, papers, and painted objects could turn to dust if we open the door too soon. We need to be sure our science is good enough to save these 2,000-year-old treasures. The old stories also talk about traps. They say there are crossbows inside, set up to shoot anyone who tries to enter. While we cannot know if this is true, it shows how much the emperor wanted his final resting place to be kept safe. So for now, the tomb remains a perfect time capsule. It holds the secrets of the first emperor and the amazing world he built. It is a library of history that we have not yet learned how to read without tearing the pages. Waiting is a sign of respect. It honors the incredible work of the people who built this wonder. It is our promise to the past that we will only uncover its secrets when we can do it safely, keeping the magic and the knowledge for everyone, for all time.